Angela Godfrey, who took us around to show us the house demolition, land grab, and house eviction. She is Jewish, and she said she cannot live in that state if it continues in this kind of way, because she has to leave it. She cannot stand the immoral way of behavior, and she believes the state is going to implode. There are small Jewish sections who are seeing this as a bad, oppressive state. And right now there are people who are going to Sheikh Jarrah, the families who have been evicted from their homes. You saw the picture. There are Jewish people who are going there and protesting that this is wrong. But they are minorities, and how much influence they're going to have with the government, I don't know.
I just want to also just to say, I think this is the right time to speak the truth in love and to point the evil that the Israeli government is doing for the Palestinians and their own people. But also this is the time to practice tough love with Israel. To tell them, we are going to stop our aid to you if you're going to continue to be in conflict with our requests. I mean, when Joe Biden goes to visit Israel and Netanyahu announces that we are building 1,000 new units in Jerusalem, it's a slap in the face. Israel continues to disrespect us as a country, as the US, where we are the #1 ally to them. Israel sent spies to spy on us here as Americans. So we need to say the truth in love and to say what you are doing is evil and has to be condemned. We need to practice tough love with Israel because we care. Because we care. Not because we want to punish, but because we care. We care about the Palestinians and the Israelis.
Kimberly Chastain, also from Palisades Presbytery. I particularly appreciate the care that you are taking to use the word Israeli rather than Jew. Because I was saying to Don Brown a little earlier, I spend a lot of time with a lot of moderates who, when they hear phrases like the Jews were responsible for the Nakba, the conversation is then over. And we have to be clear that there is definite responsibility by American Jews and by Israeli Jews that the conflict is between the Israeli government and the Palestinian people. And the Jewish lobbies in this country want us to have the confusion so that we use the word Jew casually and then it sounds anti-Semitic. And so I want to reaffirm that because I agree on speaking truth in love and speaking truth to power and tough love, but I also know how fast a conversation ends with a careless word. And we can all talk to each other and get each other just incredibly mad here and then go to the presbytery floor and have a bunch of people go, oh well, you know, there are those maniacs again.
Yeah, I mean, I will respond to this. Since I came to the US, it's been a life-changing experience. In Brooklyn, I think I am very well known and accepted among the Jewish community simply because I worked so hard to build the bridges and to reach out to the Jewish community and to the Muslim community. We even formed something called Unity Task Force where Christians, Muslims, and Jews, elected officials, and community leaders come together to speak about our community, and we are uniting and doing phenomenal job in trying to listen and hear the story of the other in a non-threatening way. So I don't use the word Jewish because my fight is not with the Jewish people. My problem is with the Israeli policies, and that's what we are trying to change. I have all love and respect for the Jewish people. I think they have suffered tremendously throughout history, and I am going through the same suffering as a Palestinian. And I actually sometimes use the Jewish story of suffering and about the cruelty of humanity and how it's being the same story being repeated today with the Palestinians. Unfortunately, we as humans don't learn from history, and we allow history to repeat itself. So my problem is with the Israeli government, with the Israeli policies, with the Israeli practices, not with the Jewish people at all. I actually will stand for the Jewish people and their history.
I'm Bob Donaldson from the Rockaway Presbyterian Church and the Newton Presbytery. 4 years ago, we presented an overture to the General Assembly. That's how things get approved in the Presbyterian Church.
Yes.
And this overture was basically trying to come to some common ground on which we could all agree. And as you pointed out, we're all children of Abraham. So we went back to that thesis, and the overture that we presented was a page and a half long, and it said that the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims all believe in the same God. We were trying to start there, and all three religions profess the Golden Rule. Now, if you use that as a common platform to go back, you'll find that the Jews and the Muslims will not disagree with that. So then we say, okay, starting there, where do we go on this particular issue? And that has been very helpful. There was a mosque that was trying to locate, and incidentally, 4 years ago, we got shot down by the Presbyterians for renewal. But we kept at it, and we did our publicity and our lobbying and put out a DVD on the issue and got testimonies from people, both Christians and Jews and Muslims. And the last time around, in 2008, the overture was approved with only minor changes in the wording. And so if you don't get through this time, in 2010, keep at it, because I think this is the thing to do. It's necessary. When you look at the issues that this very thoroughly and well-done document contains, I think you'll see that if you go back to fundamentals, it's very helpful in terms of trying to get some progress on these issues.
In 2005, when the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America voted on the strategy to be engaged in Palestine and Israel, I was one of the delegates in Florida, Orlando, Florida. I would wake up every morning and there's a huge one-page ads in the New York Times and the U.S. Today. We urge the Assembly of the Lutheran Church to vote against this strategy. There are people who have money, who are willing to shoot this down, but what we are saying, it is about humanity. It's not about countries, about politics. It's about knowing that my sister, when she wake up tomorrow, she will be safe. Knowing when the Israeli child will go to the mall, will be safe. And that's what it's all about. If we can concentrate on that as a commission, as a delegate, that's really what it is. It is not about annihilation of Israel or throw them in the river. Actually, the policy of the Lutheran Church is about seeking the security of Israel. That we care about the security of Israel more than the Israelis themselves.
Just as an example, there was a peace rally on Sunday in New York on nuclear disarmament. There were more than 8,000 people there from all over the world. There were 2,000 who came from Japan, and the next day there was nothing in the newspaper about it. The mayor of Nagasaki was there. Ban Ki-moon spoke at the conference on Saturday night. Nothing in the newspaper about it. That's what we're fighting.
But 100 people show up with Schumer, and it's all over the press.
Oh,
That's right.
I want to point out that regarding that overture, Presbyterian Newark has sent an overture to the General Assembly calling for divestment from Caterpillar because all these shareholders' resolutions they have not paid attention to over the years. We're very active in this matter. It's a top priority for us in Newark Presbytery regarding our mission in the world. I want to say that the tide of history of the Presbyterian Church has always been this way. I remember in the 50s when I was a teenager, there were Palestinians in Presbyterian colleges and seminaries in the United States. And when I went to seminary in the 60s, this was very much on the agenda of theological education, how to have justice. You cannot put people behind barbed wire and tell them to live in the tents and tell them to call it home. It's just not going to happen. And so we have consistently, I'm 69, I can remember back from when I was a teenager, 50 years and more, we have been working on the side of justice for the oppressed there, as well as in this country. The great Holocaust of lynching that took place in this country started with the Jews. As we lynched Jewish people.